Thank you, Mr. Chair, and we will be accepting the committee amendments. I realize this is a very emotional topic. Everybody wants to save animals in our communities. The people who work in the animal shelters, and I want to say I 100% respect them. I respect their concerns and their opposition. I respect their work they're trying to do, which is bring animals in, try to get them adopted, try to get them healthy, and focus on a win-win. We will be working with the opposition to further narrow it to address some unintended issues. The real focus on this is to make sure that we can reduce euthanasia rates in our shelters by doing two things. Expanding public notice requirements that our animals are about to be euthanized, like we did with last year's bill in this committee, and further requiring that oversight hearings shall be held, which allow the public to understand what changes are being made as far as some of their shelter policies. Again, thank you for the committee for engaging with us, and we know that this is a continued process and our commitment to work with the individuals who we may hear from in a few moments. With me today are two individuals and Sacramento leaders in this space, and ask that you allow them to present. Thank you.
Great. You have 2 minutes each.
There we go. Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members, my name is Mark Rakich, and I don't represent anybody other than the dogs that we fostered who were on a euthanasia pathway and placed in good homes. I'm here because of my personal experience. Let me start over. My wife and I'm sorry.
That's okay. You got it.
I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not used to being on this side.
We're all friendly. We're all friendly.
My wife and I, in the past 10 years, have fostered and placed more than 80 small dogs that we've pulled from local shelters. Fully half of those dogs were designated not available to the public or on the euthanasia list. They were all on the pathway to be euthanized. Yet we pulled those dogs. Not surprising to us, they turned out to be really good pets, even though they failed the so-called triage tests that the shelters use. You'd frankly be shocked at the reasons that shelters sometimes use to put a dog on its pathway to euthanasia. So approximately 40 dogs on a euthanasia pathway. We batted 40 for 40, 40 placed. Now, I understand the pressures, Mr. McCarty indicated as well. I mean, I understand the pressures the shelters are under, and some do a much better job than others. And I want to particularly shout out to the employees at the Yolo County shelter who do a great job of identifying dogs that failed their whatever tests, but nonetheless reach out to rescue groups. But by the way, this triage that they put dogs through to determine whether they're going to be on a euthanasia or not available to the public list has absolutely nothing to do with dangerous or vicious dogs. They could be timid, they could be a little bit nippy because they're scared to death, because they're in this shelter environment after having been found on the streets. But Yolo County and similar shelters are not why we need this bill.
And I apologize. As 2 minutes, if you could wrap up.
Okay.
Really
My point is this. Sunshine works. When they reach out, Sunshine works. People like my wife and I come forward and pull the dogs and make them available to be adopted. But not all shelters would do that very good, do a very good job of that. And our other witness is going to talk about why we need a bill.
Great. Thank you very much. You have 2 minutes.
My name is Layla, and I represent the animals because they have no voice. AB 2265 will give animals the opportunity to be saved while reducing the exorbitant costs associated with euthanizing and disposing of their bodies. Isn't saving lives and saving money a good thing? Although I work full-time in management, I was also a dedicated volunteer at a shelter in Sacramento, spending the majority of my weekends, holidays, and vacations helping at-risk animals by evaluating them, making videos, and sharing their stories on my social media. I was extremely successful creating public awareness so that fosters, adopters, and rescues could help save a life. I, along with many networkers and rescues across California, save at least half of the shelter population by sharing with the public which dogs are at risk for euthanasia. Unfortunately, I experienced firsthand that many shelters choose to hide which animals they intend to euthanize, and therefore many animals are killed without a chance. While volunteering, I was blindsided when the shelter director, who is also director at Cal Animals, told me that I could no longer volunteer if I continued to use the words "at risk for euthanasia" on my own personal social media. I was bullied and retaliated against for telling the truth. This is not uncommon for volunteers and staff to experience. I've seen what happens to vulnerable animals when no one is made aware that their lives are at risk. Volunteers were often heartbroken when we came in to find half a building empty, only to learn that they were killed without notice. We were devastated knowing we could have helped if only we had known. It is incomprehensible to me that anyone would oppose this simple, effective, life-saving notification that can easily be implemented using existing shelter infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional witnesses who want to add on in support of the bill? Any additional witnesses in support who just want to add their name, organization they're with, if any, and position on the bill?
Julie Verga, sponsor in support of this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rena Gomes, I'm in support of this.
Thank you.
Susan Falcon, in support of this legislation.
Thank you.
Catherine Rakich, longtime foster mom and animal rescuer, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Estella Drake, the voice of the voiceless animals in the state of California. I are in support.
Thank you.
Susie Emmel, in support from Norsled.
Thank you.
Elise Mize with Fix Front Street, in support.
Thank you.
Mike Yu, in support of the bill.
Thank you.
Claudia Borden Campbell, longtime animal rescuer and absolutely support of this transparency.
Thank you.
Mark Chacon, 25 years of on the firing lines of animal care, rescue, and treatment at my home. Strongly, extremely in support of the bill.
Thank you.
Jan Schott from Walnut Creek, longtime animal volunteer rescue.
Thank you.
Hello, Corinne Cooper from Sassoon City, longtime animal advocate and supporter of the bill.
Thank you.
Lisa Kirk, Contra Costa County. This also supports the governor's intention of no shelters should kill healthy, treatable, adoptable animals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary Cooper, animal lover, in support of the bill.
Thank you. We got one more.
Nick Sackett for social compassion and legislation. We're kind of a tweener position. We understand there's a lot of complications about how it's implemented, and it's not so simple, but we're happy to engage with the author and the committee going forward on this bill. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Any witnesses in opposition to the bill? Come on up. You've got 2 minutes each. Ready when you are.
Hello, my name is Jill Tucker, and I'm the CEO of the California Animal Welfare Association, representing hundreds of municipal and nonprofit shelters. The shelters in California, joined by major animal welfare organizations, are opposed to AB 2265, even with the proposed amendments, because this bill threatens public safety, reduces the public's interest in adopting, and threatens the safety of our staff. Shelters have a legal obligation to hold animals for a period of 72 hours, yet they choose to hold them as long as they can to help them find a new home. Thus far, in 2024, the average length of stay for dogs and cats in shelters is 32 days. During this time, shelters are reaching out to hundreds of rescue partners daily, asking for help and running extensive promotions to encourage adoptions. Only 30% of people acquire their pets from a shelter or rescue, which means the vast majority of people are getting their pets elsewhere. Many people choose not to visit shelters, seeing them as sad, scary places, or perceive shelter pets to be damaged. We have maxed out on the effectiveness of guilt, shame, and emotional extortion to get people to adopt. This bill does not offer a solution to increase adoptions, but will most certainly keep adopters away while inciting hatred, threats, and actual violence against our employees and volunteers. Additionally, this bill affords significant public safety concerns. Deciding which dogs threaten our community's safety is a responsibility of animal control. This bill creates very narrow criteria for weeding out dangerous dogs, referencing a code section that only applies to owned dogs that have gone through a hearing process. Under this bill, an unowned dog that has just mauled a member of the public would need to be promoted for release. We want to save more lives, and this bill does not help. AB 2265 is a misguided attempt at a one-size-fits-all solution, and we respectfully ask for your no vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair and members, Matt Broad here on behalf of the Teamsters in respectful opposition. I think this bill is a good example of well-intentioned but perhaps poorly executed. We opposed a very similar bill with respect to the list provisions, the 24 hours to 72-hour window last year by Assembly Member Asali, and so we're certainly not picking on our friend Assembly Member McCarty. We represent workers in these shelters, and the reality is that our members love animals. Many of them have adopted as many animals as you possibly could, but they've also faced threats. They've faced actual assaults all too frequently, and so we're very worried that these provisions that would require listing could invite, unfortunately, subjecting our members to more risks. And so with that, we're in respectful opposition today and hope to continue working with the author. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional witnesses who want to add on in opposition to the bill, please provide your name, organization you're with, if any, and position on the bill.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Karen Lang on behalf of the Humane Society of the United States in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon Gonzalez with the City of Rancho Cucamonga in opposition.
Thank you.
Caroline Grinder on behalf of the League of California Cities in opposition.
Thank you.
Dr. Gary Weitzman, I'm a veterinarian and president of San Diego Humane Society, voicing opposition to this bill.
Thank you. If everybody can, everyone's been respectful to everyone so far. I know we're 3 hours in. If folks can just come up and provide your name, organization you're with, and position.
On behalf of the County of Los Angeles, respectfully opposed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dylan Finley on behalf of the ASPCA, respectful opposition.
Thank you.
Yareli Magayon on behalf of San Mateo County in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashley Kluza representing the City of Stockton Animal Services in opposition.
Thank you.
Philip Zimmerman representing the City of Sacramento Front Street Animal Shelter, requesting your opposition.
Thank you.
Josh Gauger on behalf of the County Health Executives Association of California and the Urban Counties of California, opposed.
Thank you.
Carrie Fennell of Marin Humane, and we oppose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Block, animal lover, and I oppose.
Thank you.
Kathy Rednian, San Rafael, California, opposed.
Thank you.
Rajita Vimuri with Humane Society of the United States, 7 years animal advocacy and adoptions counselor and foster mom of 20 plus dogs.